There's a man whose name is on the car you see parked outside coffee shops, invoked by tech billionaires when they want to signal visionary ambition. You know who we mean. The only thing they had in common was a passion to invent. Nikola Tesla was not a strategist. He was a man who stood in his lab and made lightning bolts 6 meters long, crackling through the dark while he stood inside the storm he'd built. He wanted to give the world free energy. He died alone in a hotel room, owing money he couldn't pay, talking to pigeons. As a boy in Croatia, he built working water turbines out of whatever he could find and dreamed of harnessing Niagara Falls. At school, he performed complex calculus entirely in his head. His teachers accused him of cheating. He wasn't. He simply didn't need to write anything down. He was also charming, articulate, someone who could hold a room. Mark Twain became one of his closest friends. The image of the isolated misfit came later, earned through disappointment, not born into him. Edison hired him. Tesla improved his DC dynamos significantly, and by his own account was promised $50,000 if he succeeded. He succeeded. Edison didn't pay him, and told him it had just been an American joke. There's no written record of that promise, but what we do know is that Tesla's diary, covering his final weeks at the company, says nothing except goodbye to the Edison Machine Works. Whatever happened in that room, it ended with Tesla digging ditches. Then backers appeared. In 1888, he filed 30 patents, including the polyphase AC induction motor. Westinghouse bought them. Tesla's alternating current could travel hundreds of kilometers on a single line. Edison's DC lost power every couple of kilometers. Edison understood. He was losing. He launched a public campaign, electrocuting animals to prove AC was dangerous, hoping Westinghouse might become slang for execution. It was ugly, and it failed. By 1896, AC generators at Niagara Falls were sending power to Buffalo. The argument was over. Now here's the moment almost everyone gets wrong. Most accounts tell it as though Tesla was too impractical to understand what he was giving up. That's not what happened. George Westinghouse was not a typical Gilded Age industrialist. While others ran 12 to 16-hour shifts using child labor, Westinghouse introduced a 9-hour workday in 1869, built houses for his workers at cost, set up injury funds and educational programs. In an era when the average worker put in 100 hours a week, he voluntarily cut into his own revenue to give his people something no one else was offering. It cost him. He did it anyway. By 1891, his company was in serious financial trouble. A banking panic had triggered a credit crisis, and the creditors wanted Tesla's royalties cut. $2.50 for every horsepower sold, growing fast as AC spread across the country. Westinghouse came to Tesla in person and explained plainly, if the creditors won, the banks would take over. Tesla would no longer be dealing with the man who believed in him. Tesla tore up the contract on the spot. He walked away from what would conservatively have made him the world's first billionaire. When asked why, he said Westinghouse had believed in him when no one else would. That was the whole explanation. He dug ditches. He knew what money was. He just didn't think loyalty was something you invoiced. In 1935, after Edison had cheated him, Morgan had abandoned him, and Marconi had taken his ideas and received the Nobel Prize, Tesla publicly advocated for eugenics. It's the thinking of a man who started out wanting to give free power to all of humanity and watched that dream get crushed at every turn until he stopped blaming the system and started blaming the people. The irony is that by his own criteria, he would have qualified for exclusion. He died in 1943 alone in Hotel New Yorker, alone, in debt. Within hours, government agents removed his papers. 6 months later, the Supreme Court confirmed that Marconi's key radio patents were built on Tesla's prior work. He didn't live to hear it. Every time you plug something in, you're using his system. Every MRI scan is measured in Teslas. Every drone flying today descends from the radio-controlled boat. He demonstrated in 1898 that the Navy dismissed as a parlor trick. Your phone charging on a pad without a cable is the Wardenclyffe principle. He was 120 years early, not wrong. Tesla wrote in his autobiography, "For many years, my life was little short of continuous rapture. Given everything, the poverty, the betrayal, the loneliness, that either says something about self-deception or about the rare capacity to find genuine joy in thinking, regardless of what the world does with the results. Both feel true. That's what makes him worth remembering."